Thank you for joining us. We will now begin with questions for Enrique Bradfield Jr. Please use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you're called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Robbie Weinstein. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Robbie, go ahead.
Hey, Enrique. I think you were on second base at the end there. Could you tell right out of when the ball was right out of his hands that something had gone wrong? I mean, what's just the feeling of, the wild excitement like in a situation like that where you guys were down to your last strike?
Once the game was tied, it's basically a reset. And when I was on second base, I was just waiting for Carter to get a pitch he could do something with and work with. And I saw the curveball break out of his hand. And I know curveballs like that for a catcher, any catcher, doesn't matter, elite, whatever level, are hard to catch. So when I saw it, I knew it was going to give us a chance and just hit his glove and went to backstop and got caught in the net, and we scored the run.
Our next question is from Kayla Anderson. Kayla, go ahead. Our next question is from Chris Lee. Chris, go ahead.
Chris Lee, VandySports.com. Enrique, what were you looking for in the bat? Walk me through that. And just what was it like in the dugout as you guys are going through the ninth inning and trying to digest what, the gravity of what's ahead for you there?
Going to the ninth, we all knew we could do it. We've done some crazy things this year, down in the last inning, 2 outs. A lot of the runs we score are 2-out runs. Nobody's on to start the inning. We get to 2 outs. We get a base runner. Then another base hit follows. So we knew it was always possible. Going through my at-bat, it all went back to, I think, my at-bat in the 7th inning where I faced Beck the first time. I chased a curveball in the dirt. And I was, of course, frustrated because nobody wants to do that. But I just knew I had to see it pop out of his hand. I was looking for a fastball, and I just saw it and reacted to it.
Our next question is from Adam Sparks. Adam, go ahead.
Adam Sparks of Tennessee. And Enrique, Javier and Spencer both had to get on base for you to even have a chance to do what you did. What can you say about those two guys? And I mean, those are role players that came up big in the ninth.
Yeah, Javi, he's somebody who hasn't played. He hadn't played a whole lot to start the year and through a large amount of the season, and he's always stayed focused. He's always stayed ready. He works just as hard as anybody else, and he's got inserted. His at-bats are great. He's a great fire spark for the order, so I'm happy that he's in there, and he had a great AB to get on base to start us off. And Spence coming off the bench, just wanting to pass it over. He told me, he's like, I'm just going to try and do my job and get it to you, and he did great. He hit a ball that basically he ran it out, and just great job by those two.
Thanks.
Our next question is from Aria Gerson. Aria, go ahead.
Enrique, after especially, getting picked off first base in the first inning, mentally, how did you kind of, recover from that in order to, have that clutch hit at the end?
That doesn't change anything for me mentally.
Our next question is from Joe Rexroad. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, Enrique, how would you characterize the entire night? It was just brought up, of course, getting picked off, some errors early in the game. You guys made some mistakes in this game, ups and downs, coming back. How would you characterize this? How would you classify this compared with some of the wildest games you've been a part of in your young college career?
It's definitely up there just because of the spot. Elimination game in the CWS. We know we played pretty much the worst baseball we could play in 4 innings, both sides of the ball, defense and offensively. It was just about regrouping, getting back to what we know how to do, and is put together good ABs, start putting the ball in play and getting runs.
Our next question is from Chris Harris. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, Enrique, kind of off of that, just can you speak to the range of emotions that went through the dugout, especially after you guys fell behind? And it looks like Corbs was saying some interesting things in the dugout to trying to get you guys fired up, and what all transpired there.
Well, he was just trying to get us back in our right mindset. We had some key mistakes early in the game, and Corbs talked after that. We got back to what we know how to do.
Our next question is from Chad Bishop. Chad, go ahead.
Yeah, Chad Bishop with Vanderbilt. Enrique, what happened to Spencer Jones's shirt there at the end?
Somebody got a hold of it, took it off him. Spence a big figure, so maybe not the worst thing.
Our final question will be from Chris Lee. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, Enrique, what was said, at least that you can repeat, in that pep talk you got after the third inning from your coach? And just what was the issue early? Because that wasn't the baseball we've seen you guys play.
I'm not sure what the issue was. It was just a couple mistakes here and there. It happens to everybody. And Corbs just wanted to rally us, get us together, get us going.
Thank you for your time today, Enrique. We will be joined momentarily by Luke Murphy. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary.
Thank you.
We are now joined by Luke Murphy. Our first question is from Chris Lee. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Chris, go ahead.
Luke, you came in a big spot there in the eighth, bases loaded to a kid that had hit a couple grand slams. What's going through your mind with the pitch sequence with him? I think you started with maybe 5 or 6 fastballs and ended that with a slider, if I remember that correctly.
Yeah, there's not too much thought behind that. I just kind of went in and just knew how to fill up the zone, bases loaded. So I was just trying to attack and hopefully hope for some success.
Our next question is from Elizabeth Merrill. Elizabeth, go ahead.
Luke, what did Coach Corbin, oh, you were probably in the bullpen, forget that. I was going to ask you, do you have any idea what Coach Corbin said to the guys in the dugout in the 4th inning?
Yeah, I was in the bullpen.
Our next question is from Kayla Anderson. Kayla, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess just talk about the work from the pen tonight. Really important. Yeah. Clearly, if you guys are going to continue this, but the work you got out of you guys tonight, I mean, just explain your effort tonight.
I mean, starting with Maldo, I mean, he filled up the zone, did what he needed to do, get us deep in the ball game. McIlvain did the same thing, attacked the zone, produced weak contact, and I think that put us in a great spot to kind of stay in the game. Fish came in, tough AB right there, close calls, and I just had to come in, bases loaded, and just kind of do what everyone else is doing, just kind of following after one another and hoping going from there.
Our next question is from Aria Gerson. Aria, go ahead.
Luke, what did you see out of Christian Little tonight, you know, starting a College World Series game at the age of 17, especially since he hadn't pitched in a month?
I mean, it's difficult for a 17-year-old kid coming out there in the environment with 25,000 people. I mean, he gave us all he had. It's kind of difficult coming out there and expecting a lot. So I mean, I think he's a young kid, and I think you have to give him some urgency about that, and hope for the kind of the future, I guess you could say. So I mean, he's a tough kid. I mean, he's going to bounce back, and hopefully we can use him for the rest of this tournament.
Our next question is from Robbie Weinstein. Robbie, go ahead.
Hey, Luke, Robbie Weinstein, 24/7. You know, I mean, Javi Vaz was down to his last strike of the season. So what was the mood like in the dugout? What were you thinking at that point, you know, especially considering how Beck was mowing everyone down?
I mean, our team, we're a pretty tough team. I don't think we were I don't think we were down. We were still motivated. Everyone in the dugout was thinking that we're going to win this ball game. There was no doubt about it. And Javi had a great AB, followed by Spencer, and then Enrique putting the bat on the ball and knocking the run. So there was no doubt about it in our dugout. I mean, I had full trust in our offense.
Our final question is from Corey Curtis. Corey, go ahead.
Hey, working your way from the losers bracket in this tournament to the finals is one of the toughest things you can do. But is tonight a pretty good indication that for this team, anything is possible?
Yes, sir. Anything is possible. We're a tough team. If you haven't noticed, like our last couple games are 1-run ball games, 2-run ball games, and keep put up the fight, and I think we'll have a good chance to keep advancing.
Thank you, Luke, for your time today. We will be joined momentarily by Tim Corbin. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. Thank you for joining us. We will now begin with an opening statement from Tim Corbin and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach, please go ahead with a brief opening statement.
Yeah, it was just a tough, emotional baseball game. It was probably the tale of two games for us in terms of the first 4 innings were sloppy. I thought we were tentative, didn't really handle the situation very well, and they were putting on us quick. We had to have some type of response. Dominic's home run certainly was a response to that, and then later on in the 6th inning when they scored a run, I thought that was a good job of responding, counter-punching with 2 runs. Tate had a big hit. Parker Nolan had a big hit, and then certainly. To keep the game where it was the pitching again. Maldonado, McIlvain, Fish got 1 hitter. He didn't give up any damage. He had to pitch that guy very tough, obviously, because Brock Jones had a good night up to that point, and then Murphy being able to just get out of a huge bases-loaded jam. I recognize it's really tough to lose a game that way. There's no doubt about it. I've been on that side. It's just tough. But I thought we had some very good at-bats at the end. Javi Vaz's at-bat was so good just to stay off a pitch, not leave the zone, just get to first base. Spencer Jones pinch hitting, just putting the ball on the other side of the field, just putting it in play and getting to base. And certainly Bradfield leaning on a breaking ball. And it was such a big hit. There were 3 quality at-bats in a row. And then the wild pitch, but we had to get to that point. We just had to tie it up. So good for the kids. They didn't back down. They've been tough. They've showed a lot of resiliency, and we've played a lot of 1-run games, regional to super regional to tonight. So nothing has been easy for the group.
Thank you. Now we will go to questions from the media. Our first question is from Kendall Rogers. Kendall, go ahead.
Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Tim, just kind of looking at back when he first came into the game, I mean, as a coach and you watch a guy just with that electric of stuff, and then you go into the ninth with the season on the line, what was kind of your thinking going into the ninth, and what was kind of your message to the offense going into the ninth? I mean, what did you kind of feel that the offense needed to do differently approach-wise to be able to capitalize against a guy that's red hot like that?
Oh, I just knew he was going to throw the breaking ball, and we had to Bax was talking to the hitters about watching the ball pop, and if it popped low, it wasn't going to be a strike. But we had to manage that pitch. I mean, I thought the breaking ball is kind of like it's cop-like. I mean, from Arkansas, it had a similar feel to it. Now I didn't hit, but I knew we were having a hard time picking it up. And then he's got a good enough fastball that you have to be ready for that too. But I thought when he got himself in situations where he needed a pitch, he was going to always roll to that. And we kind of knew it, but we just had to do a good job managing the zone, and Javi did that. I mean, that was the at bat. That was the at bat that turned the inning. Is just getting to first base, and he could have left the zone on that breaking ball down, but he stayed off of it. That was a very good at bat by a kid that's got a good heartbeat for the game.
Our next question is from Teddy Cahill. Teddy, go ahead.
This is the first time you guys had faced elimination this season. Did it take some time to settle in, do you think, or how do you think everyone handled, just the added pressure of an elimination game?
In retrospect, not very good, Teddy. I thought we were pressing a little bit. I thought we were pressing. We were anxious in some respects offensively. We were on our heels defensively, and it cost us. I mean, the first inning was indicative of kind of how we were playing the first 4 innings. I mean, balls not taken care of, fly balls not being caught. I just thought we were very tentative inside of the game. And, yeah, I mean, it's, you look at the lineup, and there are absolutely zero excuses, but you look at the lineup, and none of those guys have been on the field before. So I'm sure for them, when you think about it, and you're human, and the elimination games are just different because you know that if things don't go your way, the season's over, and there's some emotional feelings that way, and I'm sure it can pull you down, and it's tough to get inside this environment and play with freedom. But towards the middle part of the game, I thought we did. I thought we kind of settled in. The verbiage was different in the dugout, and the actions on the field, there was more communication. I thought we were really quiet at the beginning and just very tentative.
Our next question is from Chris Harris. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Tim, I wonder if you could share a little bit of what the cameras picked up, of what you said to the guys in the dugouts after falling behind early, and then also subsequently what your team may have learned about itself from tonight's comeback win.
It was just a moment. I don't typically talk to him during the course of the game, but I just thought that there was some moments. I went out to the mound to change pitchers, and I didn't think the eyes looked good. And Brown, when I came back in, Brownie said the same thing. So I just didn't want to go down. If we're going to lose playing aggressively, and I just didn't think we were. It was just more of a challenge than anything else. Rare moment because first of all, I don't like doing that, and second of all, it's their game. It's theirs to win or lose, and you don't ever want to interfere. But at the same time, I didn't feel like they were playing like themselves, and we needed to snap out of it. And I'm not saying that discussion had anything to do with what happened, but at that point, we just needed to snap out of whatever fog we were in because we were not playing like ourselves.
Our next question is from Chris Lee. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, Tim, talk about the decision to pinch hit Spencer on that spot. What into it, what you thought you could get from him to make him the right guy in that spot? Because it had been a while. He hadn't hit much, I guess, in the postseason.
No, he hadn't. But at the same time, he got a pinch hit the other day, and he swung the bat early. Didn't get what he wanted, but he was ready to hit. And I think that's the most important thing. The other thing, his swings away from the game have been good. He stayed very present, even though he hasn't been playing. I credit him with that. But I think the difference was the fact that we felt like his barrel could potentially run into that breaking ball. We felt like if he was going to throw the breaking ball, and he did in the first 2 pitches he threw to Spencer were fastballs, but we felt like if he was going to throw that breaking ball, Spencer had a chance to run into it because of his barrel angle. So We just felt like that was a better matchup than what Jason was. But you never know. You rolling dice sometimes, flipping coins. But felt like the one thing about Spencer, you're going to get a good heartbeat because he contains himself well. He's very present in what's going on.
Our next question is from Adam Sparks. Adam, go ahead.
Yeah, Tim, I wanted to follow up on that on Spencer and Vaz both. Those are two guys that had to practice a lot of patience before they got their opportunity. Is there anything about their character that helped them out in being prepared despite their limited experience this year?
Well, I think you mentioned both of them, but Javi on the front end of it is very engaged in every game, and that was game 1 to game 50. You know, there was only one time he stepped on the field as a starter, and that was back when we played against Georgia. And then in the postseason, we got to a point where we felt like he was going to give us good at-bats. He was going to take his walks. He wasn't going to swing out of the zone. He could bunt. There were a lot of things we felt like he could do to move offense. And he gives you a pretty good defensive piece in the outfield. But, you don't get to that point and play well unless you stay present for the entire season, and he did. Jonesy, same thing. I mean, Jonesy's had to go through some tough stuff now. I mean, he's had two big injuries that have kept him out. It's tough to come back from the arm. So defensively, you just haven't had many options for Jonesy. You know, it's either DH or nothing. And he recognizes that, but wants to play. But he too he's a very calm kid. You know, he keeps the harmony of the team and just does what he has to do, and he understands a team role. But understanding a team role here at Vanderbilt is the most important thing these guys can do before they get a playing role, and that starts day one, and that has to happen. If you don't know what a team role is, then you'll never get on the field as a player.
Thanks.
Our final question is from Aria Gerson. Aria, go ahead.
Tim, what does it mean for your team that they were able to win a game like this without, Rocker or Leiter down to the bottom of the lineup and after having played so badly at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives from that because you lean on two guys in a lot of different ways, and the fact that, we could start Christian and, he didn't pitch that bad. We play a little bit of defense behind him. He probably goes deeper into that game and certainly doesn't get frustrated. And then, after that, we were leaning on the bullpen. But I think the fact that they could just withstand that and play in another one-run game, I mean, we've just played a lot of one-run games. We have. And really losing the other night in that one-run game is one of the few one-run games we've lost all year. But they get to those moments. They do a good job of competing and staying in it. We might not be the most talented team, but the thing that you can't deny the kids is they are tough. They're tough, and they're every time you challenge them, they come back, and I appreciate that. I appreciate their fibers.
Thank you for your time, Coach.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you all for participating. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. And transcripts are available at www.ncaa.com/transcripts. Thank you all for joining us.
Okay, guys, if you'll raise your hand, identify you, and then we'll take questions for Brock. Go ahead, Troy.
Brock, obviously not the ending that you wanted. Just take us through the day and take us through your emotions right now.
obviously it hurts. This isn't where we wanted to end, and we were so close. But I'm so proud of this team, each and every one of them. We all worked for this, and we knew we were going to be here, and our coaching staff pushed us every step of the way, and we deserve to be here. We've earned it, and it was just a hell of a year for us.
Our next question is from Joe Healy from Baseball America.
Hey, Brock, it might be a little. Sorry about that. Joe Healy, Baseball America. Brock, have you had any time so far, with the loss being fresh, might be a tough question to answer, but have given any thought to what just getting to this stage means for Stanford baseball and getting it back on to national prominence in a place that it's been so many times before?
Yeah. What I've noticed just even being here for, 2 years is we get slept on a lot. So does the whole entire Pac-12. So I think it was huge that, we were able to get 2 Pac-12 schools here, and, we were able to make it pretty far and, just put some respect back on the West Coast. But yeah, I don't doubt for a second that we won't be back here next year. I'm not really worried about next year right now because I got, brothers in there hurting right now. So, I'm very happy, but I'm also, very sad that we weren't able to go further.
Quick follow-up, Brock. Obviously a tough ending there with Brendan to have it in that way when he had been so good for you guys. What was kind of the message, coaches and teammates, for him coming off the mound with the game having ended the way that it did?
This loss is not on him whatsoever. He's one of the biggest reasons that we were even able to get this far. And we can't expect him to be perfect. We cannot expect anybody to be perfect on this team. And it's baseball. It happens. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do in the future because I know he's going to be a hell of a pitcher.
Go ahead, Troy.
Brock, a tremendous NCAA tournament for you. How would you sum up the things that you were able to accomplish throughout the course of this entire postseason and what this Omaha experience means to you personally?
It's every baseball kid's dream to come here, and I know every single one of us were so excited that we were able to get here. We worked for it, and obviously, I'm proud of some of the things that I did. I'm proud of a lot of the things that this team did. Obviously, making it this far, but we can always do more, and there's more work to do. And I think next year we're going to go even further. So. It's tough. It's not really about me in any way or my success because we would not have been anywhere near this position without anybody on this team, even the guys supporting us from the stands that weren't able to be in the dugout. They're with us every step of the way, and I'm just so thankful for each and every one of these guys and for the seniors that we were able to get this far for them.
Troy, do you have a follow-up?
Nope, all set.
Any other questions for Brock? Thank you, Brock. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right. Coach will join us momentarily. And Coach, thank you for joining us this evening. We'll let you make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions.
Well, it's one of those classic College World Series games. Unfortunately, it didn't fall our way. I've been a part of a few of them, and some of them have gone my way. And so you just know that's what happens here at Omaha. Sometimes you get in those late innings, and sometimes you have those magical endings for one team or another. And hey, zero regrets on our side. And you had a chance to speak with Brock Jones, and that's just indicative of why you wake up every morning excited to go to work, getting a chance to work with players like him who just cares so much about his team and his teammates. And my heart hurts for our guys who are just hurting right now because they wanted just to continue to play with each other just a little while longer, and I know we talk about just wanting to practice one more time just to be together, and to see them not get that chance is, it hurts me, just to watch my coaches who put so much time and effort into it, and there's some tears out there just because they care so much, and that's the beauty of it, that they really did have a brotherhood and a bond amongst each other that they'll never forget, and this will provide some memories for them that they'll take with them the rest of their lives, and that'll set a standard for how they go about their jobs, and just this whole the whole experience of college baseball and baseball at Stanford, and we're dealing with making men better in the future, just better employees and better husbands and fathers and brothers, and I just love this group, and I'm going to miss not having this team together just one more time, and when we do get back here and maybe get further, it'll be on the shoulders of this team that really set a standard for us and broke some barriers in our program and amongst each other, and guys like Brock Jones, who came to Stanford not just to make it a stepping stone to professional baseball, but to get here to Omaha and play for a national championship, and watch them just do it so courageously and put their heart on the line is a coach's dream. You dream to have players that care that much and want to play selflessly.
We'll take our first question from Troy Clarity.
Coach, congratulations on the season. Overall, tough outcome, obviously, tonight. Take us through the factors that led up to us seeing Brendan Beck closing it out, and what did you see on that final pitch?
1 second, we got some audio in here that's...
Guys in the dugout.
No problem.
Yeah.
Well, we knew we had Brendan for a short span, and we knew that probably was a high leverage spot, and that would probably eliminate him for the rest of the weekend. But again, it's kind of no tomorrow, and we were actually thinking of maybe only using him into the eighth, but the eighth inning was such short pitch count that we thought that we had one more, and and hey, just one strike, one out away, and we weren't able to get that, and hats off to Vanderbilt for staying with it and creating that inning out of nothing against an unbelievable pitcher. So when you're able to do that against a pitcher like Brendan Beck, you've earned that win, and so I congratulate them, but I feel for Brendan.
Our next question comes from Joe Healy of Baseball America.
Hey, Coach. Joe Healy, Baseball America. You alluded to it a little bit earlier in your statement, but what does just getting to this stage again mean for Stanford baseball and what you guys want to accomplish moving forward?
Well, it's something that you shoot for, and it's something that we know that our program has experience doing, and I'm driven every day by the experience I had as a player here at Stanford. Going to Omaha a couple times and winning a national title, and then watching my brothers go ahead and do it again the year after, and just understanding what it does for you as a person, and how it changes your perspective on everything that you do as far as what you're shooting for once you get a chance to play professional baseball or go to work or go to graduate school. You just all of a sudden that what you expect out of yourself expands, and I love seeing that in our program as guys just expect excellence out of themselves and expect to be competitive, tough competitors, and fearless, and maybe out of the norm of what you consider maybe a Stanford kid, but just that toughness. I love watching them just grow, and it's a great experience. I mean, for me, I'm so blessed to be able to work with these student athletes at Stanford, and kids who care about baseball and each other, and they're great at something else too. So it's a blessing for sure.
Joe, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, Brock in the center of everything offensively for you today, just as he's been all season long. What have you seen from him development-wise? From you and I have talked about this before, but development-wise from him, when he stepped on campus to what he is now, which is frankly one of the best hitters in the country.
Well, when you see a guy who's able to perform on this stage, right, and hits in the middle of the order, so they're pitching him tough. They understand who he is, and to watch him just be able to perform and grow, and where he was a year ago when he was just starting to concentrate on baseball and at this level, and it wasn't easy. And to watch him just put in the time and the effort and just be selfless and humble and work really hard, and he just drags people with him. The people follow him, and they know that if a player like Brock Jones is working that hard, there is no excuse for anyone in our program not to follow his lead. And we're so blessed to have players like him, but he's not the only one. It's a culture, and it's a group of guys that will. They've done everything that we've asked, and my coaches can push them as hard as they need to push them for greatness, and they accept it and embrace it. Probably you miss the games, but I think I'll miss practice as much with this group as anything because of how hard they work and how much they enjoy just being around each other.
Any other questions for Coach?
One more quick one. I noticed, Brendan, obviously it's just a tough way, especially with how good he was tonight leading up to that ninth inning. A couple of folks ran out there to kind of greet him off the mound and kind of pick him up a little bit. But what was the message to him, just given how abrupt that ending was and how just crushing that situation is for that kid?
Well, you understand the kid is hurting. But really, Coach Eager and I went out there and really just, hey, Brendan, we love you and we wouldn't be here without you. And we understand the pain that you're going through, but we have no regrets, losing that way with you on the mound. And it doesn't make him feel a whole much better, but I just felt like, for us to be able to express our love for him and just our appreciation for him going back out there. He wanted to pitch and expressed to us that he was going to be available. And if it gave us a chance to play one more day, he wanted to do it. And we had many opportunities in the game today to kind of put that dagger run on the board, and we just weren't able to do it. We had 2 or 3 opportunities to kind of put a couple nails in the coffin, and we just couldn't extend and kind of created that ninth inning with only a 1-run lead. And boy, you don't want to see anybody, especially Brendan Beck, someone that you care for. Baseball can bring you to your knees sometimes, but the learning that can come from it and the experience and. He will grow from this, and we'll always appreciate what a great pitcher he is in our program.
Any other questions for Coach? All right. Thank you, Coach. Congratulations on a terrific season.
Thank you.